now entering its 4th month, and in the face of unprecedented violence, the government today insisted it will close 20 pits with the loss of over 20,000 jobs.
Without that pit, these villages are finished.
Mining communities are being bullied just like we are. What they need is cash.
Yeah, because the miners have always come to our aid, haven't they?
It doesn't matter. It's the right thing to do.
So we are going to pick a mining town completely at random.
Wales.
Di, your gays have arrived.
Don't meet everybody. Name the group you represent in this case.
Lesbians and gays support the miners.
I'm hoping you can clear something up for me about lesbians. It did surprise me.
Let them get settled in first, shall we?
Oh.
A gaggle of gays and lesbians has come out in favour of the miners' strike.
We've been backed up by perverts.
We've been through some of the same things you've been through. Look, we raised this money because we want to help you, and that's it.
Everything will be all right once they start to mix.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get out there and find a gay or a lesbian right now.
I don't want to give them the wrong impression.
Right, because you're so bloody irresistible.
Every day they're out collecting for us.
What they're really doing is pushing their own agenda.
You better shut her mouth or I'm gonna do it.
That's enough. It's you lot, is it? The gays?
Yes, lesbians and gays support the miners.
What's going on?
Thank you. Yeah. When you're in a battle against an enemy so much bigger, so much stronger than you, but to find out you had a friend you never knew existed, well, that's the best feeling in the world.
Where exactly have you been? I want everyone to take a bucket and start rattling. This is for the miners.
Miners? We agreed on a banner mark.
It's a show of solidarity. Who hates the miners? Thatcher. Who else? The police, the public, and the tabloid press. It sounds familiar.
Surely,
But
Mark.
the only problem we've got that they haven't is Mary Whitehouse, and that can only be a matter of time.
Mark.
I know it's not been planned, it's not been thought through, but it's a really good idea, isn't it? Isn't it?
What am I supposed to do with it?
We have fought for 19 weeks in an overtime ban. We're going into the 18th week of a strike. We've come too far for anything other than to win a victory.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving mid the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes makes us strong.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
Picket line.
Mr. Chairman, what we have seen in the past few weeks is not picketing at all. It is an attempt by force to prevent others from doing what they have a right to do. It is intimidation. It is unlawful assembly. Our duty demands and the national interest requires that we see that violence does not pay and is seen not to pay.
Yeah.
Let violence cease. Let the law be kept. That is the spoken and unspoken hope and wish of millions of our fellow citizens.
There's noises in the village. Small voices. Nothing we can't handle, man.
They want to go back.
They've been told they'll save the pits, they go back first. They won't, but desperate people, they'll believe anything.
Tell them about the bus.
Our bus is broken down.
And our gas has been cut off, so we're having baths next door.
When Margaret Thatcher was elected Britain's first female Prime Minister in May 1979, she set about smashing the existing economic order. She introduced free market policies that helped the country throw off its post-war malaise and shook up the banking world with a flurry of deregulation, making London one of the world's most important financial centres.
She thought the financial services industry was an industry that could flower and blossom and create great wealth for the nation. But I think that the main point would be that she saw Britain as the bankers of the world.
The mainstream of her activity was to move over to market economics and to get rid of the rust bucket legacy, which we've been trying to keep going, of old-fashioned, heavy, loss-making industry and absurd restrictive practices in public sector-owned industries as well. And she took on the profession, she took on the city, she actually believed that people should be responsible in the way they did things. And looking back, I think the main thing she did was modernise.
In 1986, Margaret Thatcher pushed through a series of reforms, the so-called Big Bang, attracting international banks and foreign businesses to the City of London.
What Big Bang did actually was open up the gateway for the American banks to come in and then all the international banks to come in. And we've seen in the last 25 years, London come as probably the preeminent financial capital.
But while she ushered in an era of unprecedented growth, her legacy on economic issues remains divisive, with some arguing her policies sowed the seeds for the 2008 financial crisis.
She deregulated the banks. Shamefully, Blair and Brown carried on with this nonsense. The crisis we're living in today is the legacy of Thatcherism, just like the crisis in America is the legacy of Reagan. We need a more fair society. We need a high investment, high skill economy. And there is no way out of this without that.
Margaret Thatcher's influence on other parts of the economy has proved just as enduring. She took a hard line during strikes in the mid-1980s, facing down coal miners with riot police and crushing the power of Britain's once powerful unions. Her commitment to free markets led her to sell off a raft of state-owned industries, from British Gas to British Airways, and to cut taxes.
She was very keen on privatisation, and she recognised that to have a successful privatisation, whatever rules you created, whatever you did with debt, however you organised the financial structure, in the end it's about people.
It was not in favour of picking winners. It was not about giving large amounts of money to industry. It was about creating the right climate for industry and letting them compete.
She was as tough a negotiator abroad as she was at home, staunchly opposed to the idea of a single European currency, and she refused to entertain the notion of giving up the pound. Her critics and supporters alike would agree that by the time Margaret Thatcher left Downing Street in November of 1990, Britain was a very different place from when she first took office.